This is James Hunt from Feedsite, and this is your weekly update. Visa recently announced their long-awaited changes to their chargeback rules in order to stop the rise of first-party fraud. What is first-party fraud? Well, this is better known by two other names within the industry. The first, and more commonly used, would be friendly fraud, and the second is a reclassification being lobbied by the Merchant Risk Council of first-party misuse. To commit this type of fraud, I as a consumer will go and purchase goods or services from a merchant. Once I've received those goods or services, I will then contact my bank and tell them I didn't make the transaction. My bank will then refund me for that transaction and raise a chargeback via the merchant's acquirer, who will subsequently then pass that chargeback back on to the merchant. So what's Visa doing to try and combat this issue? Well, the changes they've made refer to dispute condition 10.4, which relates to fraud in card-absent environments. And really at a high level, what Visa is saying is that if either the merchant or the acquirer can prove that the consumer who is raising the dispute is a known good customer, they will cancel the chargeback. So how does Visa define what a known good customer is? Ultimately, they have to have made two previously undisputed transactions using the same payment credentials. What do I mean by undisputed transactions? I mean that the card issuer has not reported either of these two transactions for fraudulent activity to Visa. Now, not only this, but those transactions have to have occurred 120 days before the dispute has been made. There's also a number of data points that have to be consistent against both the disputed and undisputed transactions. Now, both these disputed and undisputed transactions have to share two of the same data points out of this list of four. Either a customer account ID / login ID, a delivery address, a device fingerprint or device ID, or an IP address. Now, the only caveat here is at least one of those two data points needs to be at least a device ID, a device fingerprint, or an IP address. Now, as with any changes made by the card scheme, these changes will not come in overnight, and acquirers, issuers, and merchants have until the 25th of April 2023 before these changes will come into effect. Thanks for listening. My name's James Hunt. That's your Feedsite Weekly Update.